have you heard much about this guy? Like,
Oh yeah, I heard he's great.
yeah, I heard that he's never had sex before and he doesn't really know what he's talking about. I'm kind of nervous.
No, he has lots of experience. He taught my mom's Lamaze class actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, so, class, my name is Mr. Poopenhauser Wicken Wolfenstein O'Malley. Poopenhauser Wicken Wolfenstein O'Malley.
Mr. Poopenhauser Hyman Micker O'Malley.
Anybody know how many tits a woman has? Raise your hand. Nobody. Okay, we'll start with the penis. First off, we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 testicles. 9 testicles. Now, a note before we move on to the shaft. You need to wear your nut condoms on the 4th and 5th nut before penetration. Before intercourse, you wear your 2 nut condoms on the 4th and, yes, the 5th nut. So, we're moving on to the shaft. The shaft moves in a straight line when aroused. And then there you have your horseshoe droop that reaches down and picks back up here. The ending of it should have a sharp point at the end which will penetrate and injure the woman during intercourse. Now, back to the droopy U. It's the horseshoe droop technically, but I like to call it the droopy U, everybody. Droopy U. Say it with me. Droopy U. Okay, now, the droopy U is important. In the droopy U, near the tip, there is the nucleus. Protons, electrons, and all that kind of stuff. Now, in the nucleus is where everything is made. Now, there is a soft foamy substance that forms in the nucleus, travels down through the droopy U into each one of the nuts except for the ones with the condoms on it. It keeps going, and now as I draw the rest of the shaft here and it links up, we see that the foam makes its way back through on a straight course and then comes out the blowhole. Okay, so now we have the blowhole. The ejaculate comes out of the blowhole. Now, the ejaculate has to make it into the woman's belly button. So, the woman takes her vaginal straw, lets it come out, and inserts into the blowhole to clog it momentarily to build up the foam. Then, it comes out of the blowhole, and the foam disperses into the belly button area. Anybody heard of the term blow jog? You, sir. Yes, fun fact. That term comes from the blowhole.
Of course, it's so clear to me now.
Now make sure that the vaginal straw clogs the blowhole only momentarily for under 5 minutes, or else the blowhole will clog up and your rectum will blow straight out of your anus. Anyhow, moving on. We will have the vaginal straw clogging the blowhole. At this time, your rectum, speaking of, is right here at the place just before the droopy U. Now, you're going to let fecal matter come out of the rectum just before the droopy U. The fecal matter lands on the ground wherever you are performing the fornication. Fecal matter transforms into a small G.I. Joe-like doll. It takes a course running into the vagina, and once it gets into the vagina, it lays its own eggs there, comes back out, comes back up into the rectum, and stays there until the next intercourse. Now, speaking of the vagina, we have to draw a diagram over here. The vagina. Alright, this is a gaping hole where you stick the penis. Now make sure the droopy U makes it all the way in so that this thing can fold over there. The nucleus, however, needs to not be knotted up. It needs to do its job and come down through here. Now, as I said, the foam will travel through all the nuts except the 2 with condoms on it, and we come out through the blowhole. So you're going to have to get all that stuff in here and get the blowhole positioned above the belly button. So, anyhow, the vagina. This is all there is to it. It's just a hole to put the droopy U and the rest of the shaft into. So that leads us to what's above that. The tits, which I mentioned earlier. Now, can someone please tell me, how many tits are on a woman? It's a trick question. There's one. We'll just use this same diagram here. Now, the tit opens up and disperses blood into the urethra. The urethra has a hatch that opens up like so.
Why didn't I know that?
The blood goes in the hatch, goes down the droopy U, and comes up through a second blowhole used as a sealant to seal in the foam for fertilization in the belly button. Anyhow, back to the tit. If the male is stimulating the female in the correct fashion, another nipple grows out of the skin and darkens like so. A pouch of vaginal fluid should form underneath, and if the male continues stimulation, it should start to lubricate itself and drip down to further inseminate the belly button. Anyhow, the G-spot, located here. Any questions so far? Anyhow, that's all the time we have for today, but next week we will be discussing abortion. Quick show of hands, anybody here been aborted? No? Okay, and abortion and menstruation. It's called menstruation for a reason, people. It has to do with you guys. All right, I'll see you next week.
I need a cigarette. Hey, Mr. P, great class today.
Mr. P, is that some sort of sick sex joke, you little punk cock? Yes.